Chapter 8, Section 3, Multiplying Binomials, Part 1. For the next 2 days, we're going to learn 3 different ways to multiply binomials, and then we're also going to learn about multiplying a binomial times a trinomial. Today, we're going to be learning to multiply using the distributive property and then a table. So today, we're talking about 2 ways, and then the next lesson, we'll talk about the 3rd way. To use the distributive property, you're going to break one of the binomials into its terms, and you're going to distribute each of those terms to the second binomial. So when you break the binomial into its terms, you're going to be left with 2 different terms, and then you're going to take each one of those and you're going to distribute it into the other binomial that you didn't break apart. An example of this, if you look at x plus 4, the binomial x plus 4 times the binomial 2x minus 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my first binomial, x plus 4, and I'm going to break it up into its 2 terms, x and then a positive 4. When I do that, I'm going to take x and I'm going to multiply that by 2x minus 1. And then I'm going to take my second term, 4, and I'm going to multiply it by 2x minus 1. So notice when I'm distributing, I'm going to write the second binomial 2x minus 1 twice because I need to multiply it by both x and 4, the terms of the first binomial. When you are multiplying x times 2x minus 1, you need to go ahead and take your x and distribute it. You need to multiply x times 2x, which is 2x squared, and then x times negative 1, which is a negative 1x. You wouldn't have to have that one. I just put it there so that we could see it for right now. Then I'm going to take my 4 and I need to distribute it into the 2x minus 1. So I need to do 4 times 2x, which is a positive 8x. Notice because it's positive, I'm putting a plus sign. When it was negative, I put a subtraction sign. And then 4 times negative 1 is a negative 4. Now that I've distributed x and 4 into 2x minus 1, I'm left with 2x squared minus 1x plus 8x minus 4. I'm not quite done with this problem yet because if you look, negative 1x and 8x are going to be like terms. They both have x to a degree of 1. And so what I'm going to do is I need to combine them. Negative 1x plus 8x is 7x. So I'm going to leave my 2x squared alone. And then I combined my negative 1x plus 8x is 7x minus 4. So my final answer is 2x squared plus 7x minus 4. There's nothing else that I can do there. There's no other like terms that I can combine. And make sure that your answer is in standard form. I am in the standard form because I have my 2x squared on the left side all the way down with my 7x and then my negative 4. So my monomial's degrees are decreasing as we go from left to right. To use a table, you're going to be able to use a table to help you organize your work. An example using a table would be I need to multiply the 2 binomials, 3x plus 1 and 4x minus 2. Notice I've already got my 2 by 2 table up here. What I'm going to do to use this table is I'm going to take each binomial. The first binomial that I'm going to use is the 3x and plus 1. And I'm going to write its terms in each box. So because I have 2 terms, I'm going to have 2 columns. So the first column is going to have my 3x, and then my second column is going to have my plus 1. And then I need to do the same thing with my 4x minus 2. Be careful here because we need to keep the subtraction or negative sign with the 2. And I'm going to write that going down for each row. So 4x was my first term for the second binomial, and the negative 2 was my second term for the second binomial. And so I've broken those up so they each have their own row. What I need to do now is if you start in the upper left-hand corner, notice that 3x and 4x meet at that box. So what I need to do is I need to do 3x times 4x is 12x squared. Then I'm going to do 4x times 1, which is 4x. 3x times a negative 2 is a negative 6x. And then negative 2 times 1 is a negative 2. So notice I've taken all of my terms and I've multiplied them together. Now I'm going to take my like terms and I need to combine them. So just like before, I still need to combine my like terms. My 12x squared is the only x squared that I have, so there's nothing I can combine it with. But if you look at the negative 6x and the 4x, I can combine them. So go ahead and do negative 6x plus 4x is a negative 2x. So my final answer is 12x squared minus 2x and then minus 2. There was nothing to combine my negative 2 with either. This next example says, what is the simplified form of 7x plus 1 times x minus 4? And I'm going to go ahead and ask you to use both methods. If you wanted to pause this video right now, I've done an example of the distributive property, I've done an example of the table method, and so if you think you might have a grasp on those, go ahead and pause this video and try them on your own and then see how you've done. You can continue to play it after you've tried to complete them and see if you got them right or where your mistake might have been. So to use the distributive property, I'm going to take my 7x plus 1 and I'm going to break it up into its two terms, 7x and 1. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to take 7x times x minus 4 plus 1 times x minus 4. And now I need to distribute. I'm going to distribute my 7x first. 7x times x is 7x squared. 7x times negative 4 is a negative 28x. Plus, I need to distribute my 1. 1 times x is x. And then 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. Just like with before, I need to combine my like terms. I have a negative 28x plus a 1x. Negative 28 plus 1 is a negative 27x. So I have 7x squared minus 27x minus 4. Using the table method, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break up 7x plus 1 into its terms on my top. And then going down the side, I'm going to break up x minus 4. And just like with the last table method, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply whatever two numbers are meeting in each of those rectangles or each of the column and rows. So 7x times x is 7x squared. X times 1 is just 1x or x. Negative 4 times 7x is negative 28x. And negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Just like in the distributive property, I need to go ahead and combine my negative 28x and my positive 1x. Negative 28 plus 1 is negative 27. So I'm going to have 7x squared minus 27x minus 4. Notice using either method I got the same answer. So if you're not quite sure about one method or the other, and they ask you to specifically use the distributive property, but you're more comfortable with the table method, go ahead and try to do it with the distributive property. But there's nothing that says you can't go ahead and check your work using the table method if that's what you're more comfortable with. So pay attention to the directions that you're given. But these distributive property and the table method could be used to check each other because regardless of the method that you use, you should wind up with the same answer. What is the area of a rectangle with a length 2x plus 1 and a width of 5x minus 2? If you remember, to find the area of a rectangle, you have to multiply length and width. So in this case, I'm going to multiply 2x plus 1 times 5x minus 2. I would really encourage you to go ahead and pause this and try it on your own. I'm only going to make you use one method. I went ahead and I did the table method for my example, but you could absolutely pause it and try the distributive property if you wanted to, and then come back and check your work. So to use the table method, I'm going to have my table. I'm going to break up my terms. 2x plus 1 is going to be on top. 5x minus 2 is going to be going down the side. 2x times 5x is 10x squared. 5x times 1 is positive 5x. Negative 2 times a positive 2x is a negative 4x. And then 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Go ahead and combine your like terms. I have 5x and a negative 4x. 5x minus 4x would leave you with a positive 1x. So my final answer is going to be x squared plus x minus 2. If you used the distributive property, then you should have gotten the same answer. If you didn't, then you might see if you had just multiplied wrong or what happened there. Today's assignment is on page 515. It's numbers 1 through 3 and 4 through 22 even.